Mumbler. Hello, hello.
Is that a straight jacket?
That is a straight jacket. I like it. I, I escaped from that. I escaped from it 12 times. I worked for this guy. He was Larry. He was a clown. His name was Zizo, and he was at Fort Carson at a flea market, and some guy was selling it. It's totally real. It says right there, JT Posey fucking medical supplies. But anyway, he bought it at the flea market, brought it in, and asked me if I wanted it. He bought it for like $25. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. He says, okay, $50. So I bought it for $50. Anyway, yeah, did a couple really good shows. You escaped at the Hall of Presidents. We did a play. It was 4 nights. It was a play of like a vaudeville thing. And actually, it was a play, and then the people in the play went to a vaudeville show. And so we were the show that the people in the play were watching. And I had to do the escape, and then another guy did some magic tricks. And so I did that every night for 4 nights. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Nothing too big.
So did you really escape from it, or was there an inside? Oh,
no, yeah, it's just they're made to keep crazy people restrained,
but not sane people.
So with some thought and theatrical presentation, you can make it look like it might be a little harder than it is sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, it's fun. So that's that, and then I use this for protesting. So go to the Tesla protest tomorrow, bright and early. My son actually has a Tesla, so hasn't had any trouble yet. Crazy. Have you ever driven in one? Have you ever ridden in one?
I have not.
Dude, they're so cool. Sorry, I think I'm getting COVID again. I got like dry mouth.
Oh yeah.
I was kidding. Have you had COVID?
Nothing. No. I mean, of course, I didn't get tested. There was a period, during it that I didn't feel good. Yeah, but I don't know. I've been vaccinated 27 times, so I should be good to go.
You should be good to go. All right. So what else should we talk about? All right. So
you didn't tell us. You didn't finish the story.
All right. I'll tell a completely different story. But no, I'm just kidding. So I've been really friendly with transvestites and stuff forever. That's why I know kind of that it's just, it's just a fetish that these people have. But anyway, to each their own. So I'm working at Dillard's, and there was this guy there. His name was, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't give names.
Maybe your first name would be okay.
Yeah. Cool. No, he was super nice. His name was Charles. And obviously gay guy or whatever. And we were friendly. I was friendly with everybody. He worked in the cosmetic department, ladies' cosmetics. And super nice, friendly, blah, blah, blah. One day, we had to do this charity. What was it? I don't know. Everybody had to come in before work and see if they wanted to donate to some fucking charity. I don't know. It was stupid. And he showed up, and, he obviously wasn't ready to come to the meeting, and he still had makeup and eyeliner and shit all. And you're like, okay, so it goes a little farther than just being gay. So anyway, he stopped working there, was gone for a while, and shows back up, but he's now presenting himself as a woman, hair and everything. But anyway, so I kind of got ahead of myself. So there was another guy working there. He was a pretty nice guy. He was a translator for the army in Iraq. It's crazy, a Muslim guy. So are you awake?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm fell asleep yet now.
So anyway, he was real nice. He liked me a lot. He would always ask me like American questions, like about his kids at school and how he should handle like Halloween. Then he'd ask me like taxes and just all kinds of stuff, voting, just stuff that you wouldn't know if you came here from Iraq, if you were just, fresh from, I guess I'm not sure how I got here, but anyway. So he was a nice guy. He'd always ask me all kinds of questions, right? So one time I'm at lunch, and I'm walking back, and I meet up with this guy. And we're walking along, and it was the first time I had seen this Charles guy back at Dillard's, and he was, dressed like a woman. So I was kind of surprised to see him, and I said, I'm like, oh my God, Chuck, what are you doing? Dude. I'm like, dude, what's up? So I go over and I'm like, hey, high-fiving, whatever, shaking hands, little hug, the new girl in town.
Fart.
So we leave there, we walk over, and I leave him and I walk back, and the Arab guy was kind of waiting for me, the Iraqi guy, and he was a little taken aback at the whole situation, and walk over and he says, who's that? He was totally freaked out by the transvestite. And I'm like, oh, that's just this guy who used to work here. I go, there he is. There she is. And he's like, oh, that in my country, someone would kill him. And I was like, whoa, I was taken aback. And I looked at him and he went, oh, not me, but someone would.
But that's true.
It was so wrong. Luckily, I got out of there shortly after that. Oh, man.
But you'd been there a long time.
I'd been there 5 years, yeah. Retail. A lot of shoplifting.
5 years? I thought it was longer than that, but I guess it just seemed that way because you had a story every single day. Every day, I'd say. You'd have multiple stories. I couldn't even focus on my racing because you had a story that was going to blow my freaking mind, And not long ago, it was probably about a year and a half ago, actually, but I was in Dillard's and the guy we were, buying a shirt or whatever. I forget what we were buying something. Anyways, I said, man, I got to ask you a question. I was like, how many shoplifters do you think you have in a week? And he goes, in a day. I said,
in a day.
Yeah, he goes, in a day. He goes, you would. I said, well, got a friend that used to work at one in another state, and he would tell me stories, and he goes, he's right on the money. Now, all your stories weren't just shoplifters. Now, you do have a couple of shoplifting stories that I recall that kind of stood out. One of them about the guy with his kids.
Yeah, those are the worst. I'm not sure which one that was, but yeah, those are always the worst when they get the kids to either be lookout or actually take the stuff. Oh my God. Dude, it's so wrong. One of the weirdest every day. One of the weirdest was when I worked in Levi's, a whole stack would go missing. I'd turn around and they were in cubicles. It was 20 by 10 cubicles, each one with a different size and style. All of a sudden there'd be one whole cubicle missing, just disappeared. It's like, what the hell? Couldn't figure it out. Finally, I was coming back from lunch or something, completely away from the area, so I could see it from a distance. And I saw a guy walking, and he didn't even stop. He was walking right along the edge of the cubicles. He didn't even stop. He just reached over, grabbed the whole entire stack, and then just walked really fast and right out the exit of the store. So I went booking and pushed the door open and came up behind him, and I just hit the whole stack out of his hand. And that's all I could do. They were all over the ground. Then everybody came following me out there, and I'm like, get out of here. But actually, that was against protocol, but I wasn't going to let him get one more stack. Jesus Christ. It was crazy. We got his license number, turned it in, never heard nothing. It's only 2% of their business, so they don't care.
2%? That's why it's so expensive in there.
2% doesn't seem like a lot.
It's a lot, though. I mean,
that's how controlled.
You would tell me they would, what you were not allowed to do, and I remember that was one of them. You're not allowed to really chase them out the store, right?
No, you're not allowed to stop them. You're not allowed to accuse them. It's messed up. Yeah, and in Colorado, you actually can stop someone with just concealment. The law, you're not allowed to go as far as the law lets you when you're in a corporation, because they've been sued. Someone gets shot or something by a security guard, and then everything changes. But in Colorado, if you just see someone conceal something, they don't have to leave the store or nothing. You can stop them and use whatever force is necessary to restrain them or hold them till a cop comes. But nobody follows that procedure. It's messed up. And so now when I go in a retail place, my wife's like, okay, stop. Why are you watching that guy? I go, because he's going to steal. Stop. Come over here. Stop watching that guy. Stop. What are you doing? I'm watching them steal. What are you doing? Look at that girl over there. She just put that in her purse. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. Watch. Hey, ma'am. Dude, it's so messed up.
You've done that before?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Call them out?
Called them out.
Then what do they do?
Nothing. My wife grabs my arm and takes me. I'm like, hey, we all saw you put that in there. Oh, what? People are so stupid.
I know that when you get on them,
care. They don't care if you call them out now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's whack. Yeah. Probably one of the freakiest things at Dillard's. For a while, I was working in this Daniel Cremieux. It's like this high end. It's like Polo, but their version. It's right when you first walk in. And big counters and displays with all the shit. So, it's right dead center. And then there's like a men's fragrance and, people, the main walkway, standing there. And there's this guy that comes in, and he'd been in a few times before, and he was like demented, just like a problem. You could just see it in his face. Been thrown out of the mall. We watched him get thrown out once. So I'd seen him before. And I'm standing there, and I'm like doing something. And I look up, and he's standing right there, looking at me right in the face, like just across the cabinet or the wrap stand, whatever, from me. So I look up, he's standing right there, and he goes, oh, no, that's right. He looks at me, and he goes, reaches in his jacket. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Pulls out his finger like this, and he goes, points it right in my face, dude. It was fucking weird. And he just goes, and I went, no way, you're not doing that. Get the fuck out of here. It was so crazy. So I just yelled at him. But when he went like that, dude, I was like, what the hell? He comes out with his finger and just points it at my face. That was disturbing. Yeah, working there was weird. So. One time,
and he was stealing?
No, he had been kicked out of the mall for being crazy.
Okay. So he just picked you out of nowhere.
He just picked me out of nowhere. One time a guy came in and he had a CIA embroidered, like really nice polo shirt that said CIA. And I'm standing there and he's buying some jeans or something. I'm like, oh, you work for the CIA? And he just looks at me, people, I don't know, like I'm crazy. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I always thought I should do that. And he looks at me like I'm a psycho. And he's like, oh yeah, you think so? Why's that? I go, because I'm really tricky. He just looked at me like I was a psycho.
He's obviously not CIA.
I know, right?
Right.
It was nice though. It was like something you'd buy at the CIA gift shop.
Unless he worked at the headquarters or something where
right,
the people that you could could
right.
know
at
that
the
worked
front
there.
desk. The front desk were there. Right. Yeah. So. So anyway, let's see. Here, I'll finish my magic shop story. So I work there. You get to know all these people, right? They're everyday customers, so it's not unusual. And there was one transvestite that would come in, and he was kind of aggressive. He, I don't know. You can insert your own pronouns. But just, kind of, he was a working girl. Let's put it that way. And, the owner was kind of an abrasive guy and didn't get along, always kind of rubbed this person the wrong way. So I would always end up having to help him because I could treat him like a normal, customer. Didn't matter to me, whatever. And he was always full dress up, full everything. And one time he came in and we were in the back of the store and we had a new guy working there, this guy named Chris. He was so funny. He was real deadpan and you could never tell if he was joking but he was kind of young and naive and, smart, but, Anyway, so this transvestite guy comes in, He's like, I'm like, here you go, help him. I'm like, it'll be fine. Totally harmless. Just treat him like he's normal. Get him what he wants. And so he goes up there, and I might need a piece of paper for this joke. It's funny.
You're an artist.
So he goes up there, and he's helping him for quite a while, and just big old pile of stuff, cover up makeup. We have beard cover stuff that you can put on. So even if your 5 o'clock shadow starts coming in, it doesn't show up. I mean, it's complicated stuff if you ever need any tips.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so he's up there and he's helping him for a long time. And he finally comes back. And I'm like, oh, hey, Chris, how'd it go? And he's like, oh, hey, it went pretty good. He's got a piece of paper in his hand. And I went, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, it was, she was really nice. Her name is Shamali. I'm like, what? You got a name? He's like, no, she gave me her business card. Dude. And so it said across the top of the business card, it said escort, like it said adult escort, right? And then down the side of the business card, it said, dude, it's so fucking hilarious. It said she-male. And he thought that was her name. And he thought her name was Shamali. Dude, it was so funny. We cracked up so hard. From then on, every transvestite customer was like, hey, can you go help Shamali? Dude, it was so funny. I was like, Shamali? She told you her name? What the fuck? That's how open this transvestite is. He had business cards. And it had his number, an old pager number. This was back in pager days. So that's my transvestite story, Shamali. It was whack.
It's a good story, man.
That's a good story. I wish I would have saved the business card. That's all I.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh.
So that's where my training is and my whole thought process is with all the politics these days is it's not like a separate thing. It's their deal. Let them have their deal, but we don't have to participate in it, especially, her name's Shamali. Oh my God.
Shamali.
Big old shoulders for a Shamali. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, that was a trip. We'd have the Ringling Brothers when they would come through in their train. You ever seen the Ringling Brothers train?
Yeah.
They'd park it right downtown so that the clowns and everybody could come and visit our makeup counter. It was pretty.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
They'd come in and they were they were the greatest customers, really. Clowns and circus people. Strange.
Were they
just great? Supplies.
Were they all
makeup.
But they were all in regular clothing when they'd come in?
No, they were naked. It was weird. It was just, we would just come in and they were all.
Did you get any photos?
No, we had to sign a release.
Oh, man. Naked clown.
No,
that is a good one.
They were all in their street clothes, just regular customers. But, we knew they were coming because there's the train.
What was that like?
It was fun. It was cool.
A bunch of them would just come in at the same time?
Yeah, just all day. I mean, just all through the weekend they were there. Just a steady flow, just all the time.
How could you tell who were the clowns and who were, how could you tell? How could you differentiate?
They would tell us. I mean, we would talk to them. But it's not like a secret handshake or anything. Oh, here comes.
Okay. So they were very weird people or strange people?
Very strange. Clowns are very, very strange. But
would it be just, but carnies in general, right?
Carnies in general.
I wonder what makes them so strange.
Just gypsy, kind of. I don't know if you're allowed to say gypsy. Can we say gypsy? Okay.
I think so.
No, you can't. You're going to get canceled.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. When I lived in Iowa, we had a shop out there for a while. There was this tent circus that would come through. What was that? Drew a blank.
Barnum and Bailey.
No, it wasn't big. It was a small tent circus. It would come through once a year, and they were great. We would go to dinner with them and stuff. Some of the people. But yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle. They would take you in an instant, though. They're like, "You sure you don't want to come?" No, I'm good. Yeah, they're always looking for recruits.
Did you ever think, what would make that guy think I want to be one of them? You think like, does he think I'm strange like him, and then
Oh,
and I would fit in, or
totally fit in. One of us, you can tell. I was a
so?
gypsy.
What was the huh?
I mean, I moved around so much when I was young, so I guess you can just sense it in people.
Because didn't you live overseas at one point?
Yeah, we lived all over the place. My stepdad was in the military. It was crazy. We moved every about year and a half. For other reasons too. Before that, it was crazy.
What was the reason before that?
What prison? Just kidding.
Sweet.
No, my dad, my real dad was in electronics and was always moving on to the next job. Hewlett Packard, Lockheed, whatever.
Wow.
Any big thing like that. So we just moved. 18 different schools. It's crazy.
18?
Yeah, it was nuts.
Hang.
But and it's so weird because my kids had the complete opposite. They went, one grade school, one junior high, one high school. Because I did a good thing. I met a woman, got married. It was awesome.
And you didn't like that. I'm guessing you didn't like the moving from school to school. Who would like that?
You burn out on it after a while.
Yeah, after about the 14th, maybe the 4th.
Yeah, between the 4th and the 14th, it was in there somewhere.
Did you have any favorites? Did you have any places you didn't want to move from?
Colorado was good. I was born here, and then we moved back here, so that was good. Germany was awesome.
I don't think Germany's awesome right now, from what I'm looking and hearing.
When you're a teenager, it was awesome. 13, 14-year-old.
Could you drink when you were over there at 12 and 13 years old?
14, 15, yeah, totally.
Wow.
It was so messed up, dude. They had, in the train station, they had wine bottles in containers. And you could just put the money in and you pull it open and, like the whole thing would open up. Full bottle of fucking wine. 15 years old. Me and my friend, we would just wait till nobody was on the platform, run over, bonk.
But you could anyways, right? It was legal.
No, not for kids. I mean, they wouldn't let kids do it. But there's a machine.
It's a machine, yeah.
Yeah, but
wow.
It was messed up. Then we'd vomit, all night and never drink again.
Right.
But it was easily accessible. It was messed up.
When did you start getting into magic?
Yeah.
What was real young?
Yeah. What was it? We went to the North Pole. There's a amusement park here in Colorado Springs. It's actually still there. It's called the North Pole. It's up in the mountains. They have a little Santa's village and reindeer walking around that you can feed. It's pretty weird. They had a magic show there, and the guy did the magic show. And he made a rabbit disappear. And he says, okay, the rabbit will be over in Santa's house with Santa. So I'm like, okay, leave there, go over, no rabbit. I've been deceived. I've been fraud. I felt like a victim. And so I couldn't believe that there was no there was no continuation. The rabbit wasn't where he told me it would be. And so next thing you know, I'm at the library getting magic books, trying to figure out where the rabbit went. Because he never, I think he just said that to get us out of the theater. It was pretty funny. So anyway, that was it. And then, just started reading magic books from then on. It was crazy.
So then you worked at a magic shop.
Worked at a magic shop. That was it. It actually really started. We went to Florida shortly after that and went to Ripley's, believe it or not. And you go through the whole museum and it drops you out right into a little magic shop. Had like $20. Got the pile of stuff. Went home. And there it was. Then I was hooked, buying stuff. Then next thing you know, we moved back from Germany and met a couple friends here in town that worked at a toy store, but they had a little magic counter. And so that really cemented the, friends and having people that other people that did magic made it easier to fall into it. Then next thing you know, a magic shop opened up. There was a shop in Denver called Zizo's, and I heard they were going to open a satellite store here. So I went down, and a week before they opened, I got the job. Worked there off and on, more or less, for 35 years or so. Crazy. Time flies. Selling mostly whoopee cushions and, disappearing ink.
Any strange stories in the magic shop?
Oh, yeah.
Other than the carnies coming in?
The carnies were good. It's a good magic shop story. How about an early one? We used to have these fake M80s. They were so great. This was the greatest prank ever. Looked exact. Did you ever get a real M80?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're red. And they're about that long. Look like a chapstick tube, but a little bigger. And we sold these fake M80s. They were just hollow. And they had a green, waterproof, normal fuse. And it was funny because you would light it, then you could throw it at people, and they would freak out because you're throwing half a stick of dynamite at them, quarter stick. So, dude, it was so great. So we figured out, hey, you know what? We should try something. We should fill one up with flash powder, which is the theatrical powder that, you make explosions with. So we filled the M80, the fake M80, up with real flash powder.
Dude, and made it a real M80.
No, it was worse.
It was worse.
It was so wrong. So the fuse is in, the fake M80 filled with flash powder. I know, let's just go right out back and light it and see what happens. So holding it, friend lights the lighter, and the fuses looked like the nice waterproof fuses you see for fireworks, but it wasn't. It was a cheap Chinese fake fuse. So the minute he lit it, it goes into it just like, and so I'm like, oh my God. So there's no time to throw it. I just let go of it. It falls towards the ground, explodes into this huge flash powder. Isn't like a firecracker because it's got, there's flash. Besides, in the firecracker, you get the flash and that's it. But the flash powder, the effect is the powder burning, exponentially. It's crazy. So it was this huge flash. I go flying through the back door of the store. Everybody's just fell down. I looked down and my pants were the leg of my pants was blown off and there was just smoke coming out of my pants leg. There's ripped a hole in my pants leg about that big and gave me a freaking horrifying burn about the size of a quarter right on the inside of my thigh. Do you want to see the scar?
Yeah.
I know. It's still there. Dude, it was so...
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was pretty bad. But anyway, so I just got some gauze and put it on there. It was messed up. So we learned our lesson early. That was early in the early days. Anyway, it was pretty funny.
Never tried it again?
Never did that one again. But the prank, the M80 prank, I wish we could still get those because that was a good prank. Nothing like a good prank. The best prank ever, do you know what the best practical joke they ever sold in a magic shop? This is going to blow your mind. This was an actual thing. It was called an auto fooler. Have you ever seen one? It looked like about as big as a marker, and then it had two wires coming out of it. And what you would do is you would take it and you would take the spark plug cap off of someone's car. This is so great. It's so psychotic that this was a thing. And you would put the wire in there and jam the spark plug cap back on it. Then you would take the other wire and ground it to the engine somewhere or to the frame of the car. Then when they'd start their car, it was like you were killing them. You were blowing them up. But instead of it blowing up, it would just whistle. And then smoke and then a small explosion at the end. And that was the greatest trick, greatest prank ever in the history of mankind that they sold. Can you believe they sold that to people?
Well, I mean, my next question is, do they still sell it? Because I kind of want one.
You want one so bad, dude. They were
So bad.
great.
Did you ever pull it on people?
All the time. It was messed up. You'd get in people's hoods. You can't do it nowadays because you can't get in people's hoods.
Right.
In the 70s, you could open anybody's car. You could get in, put the prank in, steal their battery, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It was the best thing ever. Dude, it was great. So then that was a great joke, I mean, for a long time, until like the 70s, late 70s.
This is before my time, so this is why I don't know about it.
And then when they started getting rid of that, that was a little too dramatic for normal people. It was the greatest joke ever. So then when they started getting rid of that, they came up with something new. It was called an auto whistler. And it was a little metal whistle that had 2 flanges. And you would jam it into the back of someone's exhaust pipe. But you turn it around so that the whistle would go deep inside and the 2 flanges would come out like this. And just jam it back in there. So when they'd start their car, it would give this god-awful, depending on the combustion of their car. Dude, it was another great trick because it was so messed up. Because they'd have to get a wire and kind of like try and pull the fucking thing out of their exhaust pipe. It was great. So anyway, we thought, you know what? This guy, this manager that worked for us, he was kind of a psycho. So we thought, well, let's just put one on his old beater. He had this Blazer, one of the 4-door, super long Blazers, just obnoxious. And it was old and it was run down. So we jammed this thing in his exhaust pipe, and his engine was so messed up. He had dual exhaust that it hardly even made the whistle go. It was just like this real low. It just made a fucked up noise. So he never thought it was a prank. He thought it was just his truck was jacked up. Just messed up.
Which is even better.
So then a couple weeks later, he's like, oh, my car's in the shop. I'm like, really? Why? What happened? I don't know. Something happened with my exhaust system. It's all combustion. It's all backed up. And it's fucked up. Get a whole new exhaust. Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. Hope that works out for you. That was another great trick, another prank that you can't find anymore. Because I guess if you block an exhaust pipe, that's not good for the engine. I don't know. I'm not a mechanically inclined person, but apparently you're not supposed to do that. That's right up there with the other greatest prank of all time is cigarette loads. See, another prank gone to the wayside because hardly anybody smokes in public. So the only people you can prank is like your sister or your mom or somebody that's smoking. So, but in the old days, people would just sit at the bar and they'd set their cigarettes there and just casually take their pack, put a cigarette load, 3 or 4 cigarettes down inside the pack. Off they go into the wild blue. It's great. Light the cigarette. Have you ever seen one in real life go off?
Oh, start popping?
It's just one explosion. The whole end of the cigarette's all like exploded off. It's the greatest prank ever. I still have a couple of tins. I have about 20 of them left, but I don't know any smokers, so you put one of those in someone's doobie and they're pissed because there's $25. Oh, it was great. But
yeah, when you pull those kind of pranks, it's funny, if they walk away and all that, it's funny, but it's even better if they just start, if you get to watch it go down.
Right, exactly. You got it.
Like,
witnessing it is much better.
The guy comes back and pulls out a cigarette, and you're like,
watch out, everyone.
Zoom in right on the guy.
It's funny. All right.
Jeez.
Looking at my battery. It's holding up pretty good.
Oh, good. There's another story. The one with the kid, the guy that was stealing and it made his kid steal. I think he was the guy you had a lot of trouble with. He kept coming back, or maybe that was a different guy.
For some reason, that one doesn't ring a bell at this moment.
He had a 12-year-old kid and another kid, and when they got up to the front desk, I think he said, "Oh, I left my money out in the truck or something," and he took one of his kids with him, and they left, and then the other
Oh,
boy was sitting there, something to that effect. I
dude,
maybe
yeah.
got those.
Yeah, and the other kid was supposed to wait until and book out the other exit. Like if I eventually went to the door, but called the manager over and we just waited and finally that guy came back in, wondering where the other kid was. Yeah, it's so diabolical.
And then another story. Go ahead.
Probably one of my favorite shoplifting stories is because it has a happy ending. Is for a while they wouldn't use these cables. You know how they have cables on the expensive jackets? They thought it put a negative tone on the department if everything was chained up, right? It's like, we don't want to look like we're chaining everything to the frames. So at Dillard's, everything's real seasonal. So all the leather jackets would come in like within a couple weeks for the Christmas season, all of them. And then once they, it's their business model, then, they go through the sale thing, and then they get marked down, and then they get shipped out. But when they're brand new, it's full, they're fresh, and they're fucking full, these things. And so this guy came in and took a whole armload of leather jackets and goes booking out the door. And I was down the hall. I was down, pretty far away, but I just went running down there after him. And there was, right as he went out, there was 3 GIs coming in. That's what we called them. 3 Army guys. And so he runs out. They come in. And one of them's like, clearly this guy knows situational awareness. He's like looking around, and he's like turns to me and he sees me running, and he's like, "Did you steal those?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And this guy was freaking huge, right? And so he goes, "Oh, okay." And he turns and runs out, leaves his 2 friends. I get to the door. We had called security. Everyone's running up there. Now there's like 8 people. We can't see him. He ran off. He's gone. 4 minutes later, if that, 3 minutes later, here he comes with all the leather jackets, and he walks in and he just hands them to me, and I went, "Dude, thanks a lot. It was great." High fives everywhere. See, he didn't work there. That was the secret. It was easy to stop. He was just a random GI ready to jump in the fight, dude.
Ready to do his part.
He went off, came back, had all the jackets.
Did he catch the guy, or did the guy drop him and keep running?
He dropped him and kept running. Yeah. So, yeah, it would have been better if he would have killed him.
There was another story. Yeah.
But, certain norms have to be maintained.
Right. Yeah. There was another story where you talked about a guy had done something, and he stopped, I guess, at the fragrance counter and grabbed some cologne and said, "I'm taking this too," or something like that, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a great one. You got to appreciate thieves like that, though, right? He was grabbing a stack of designer. The designer jeans were the first thing we started locking up. The Lucky, or the ones that are pre-ripped and have all the embroidered ass cheeks. I'm sure you had some of those.
So, I have them on right now, actually.
Yeah. So they would, that was the first thing. And he grabbed those, and he wasn't giving them up, and he knew that we couldn't cross boundaries, He'd already knew that we were both hands tied behind our backs. Yeah, he's just walking out. They have those big gift boxes with like fragrance and a headband and whatever. Keychain. Grabs one of those. "I'm taking this too." "Okay, motherfucker. Have fun with that. Hope you smell good." So since we weren't allowed to do anything, the only thing I could do was use my mouth. And so I would just like mock them. We'd walk out and make fun of their car and what they're wearing. And "Your girlfriend's really going to like that." It was fun. It was stupid. It drove me so crazy that Oh, sorry. Bought that for
Yeah,
my
it
grand.
did though. It did for real though. I know because I was listening to your stories and you were highly agitated.
Yeah.
You did not appreciate it at all. And I didn't appreciate it. I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, I think the other story that I can think of right now, off the top of my head, is the woman that you worked with that was very nice. You said she was almost like a nun. And a dude went into the dressing room.
He wasn't stealing, right?
Right, he was not stealing.
He was enjoying himself, and her service towards him made him very happy. Is that the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was messed up. She's like, "Oh my God, he's jacking off."
She said it?
Yeah, I think so. She said something. She said, "He's masturbating." What? This is messed up. So we had the managers all came around and they're yelling at him, and you can't do anything though. I mean, what are you going to do? Grab him?
He was in the dressing room, correct?
Yeah, he was in there pleasuring himself with the door open. That's the thing. They're not going to do it with the door shut. I'm sure that happens all day long. Who cares? Gross. That's the weirdo with the door open. All right, I'll tell you one more. Since you went down that road, I'll tell you a magic shop story that's horrifying. The shop went through several owners for a period of a couple of years. I had moved away, had a different shop, and then I came back and worked for a while with my dad. And then the shop changed hands like 3 times, I think, to other people. And it ended up with this guy who was a principal in a school, and he wanted to retire. Him and his wife were school teachers or something. His wife was a principal, and he was a teacher. And he hated it, like your friend, that you were telling me about that got...
Yeah.
And it drove him crazy. And so he retired or quit and bought this shop. So I came back to Colorado and ended up working for him. And he was gone. And he had this guy. I have no idea. I was pretty fresh there. And his name was Pickle. I don't know. It was his nickname, was Pickle. And for some reason he was in charge. He was the manager. And so the owner was gone, manager's there. Halloween, absolutely insane. Halloween season at a magic shop. You make almost all your money in that month, those few months, that you're going to try and survive the rest of the year selling whoopee cushions and disappearing ink. So it's so busy, and you have to hire all these extra people, and it's crazy. So I'm working. We have the store's huge, and in the back there's dressing rooms behind where the makeup area is and stuff. So I'm just out working, and all of a sudden I hear this woman screaming from the dressing room area. She's like, "Oh my God, there's someone peeking through a hole." Dude. I'm like, "What?" Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "In the ceiling, there's a hole in the ceiling, and someone's peeking." So she looks up in the ceiling, dude, and all she sees is an eyeball looking through a little fucking hole that some weirdo had poked in the ceiling. And it was the dressing room was kind of built just for Halloween, right? There's like 3 dressing rooms just made out of plywood with curtains on the front. And above it was an old loft from when it was a smaller shop that wasn't really used anymore except for storage. So I knew that loft was up there, and I knew that somebody had to fucking be up there, right? So I'm like, fuck. All right, ma'am, it's okay. I'll get the manager. So I turned to the front of the store, and I'm like, Pickle! His name was fucking Pickle, dude. Pickle. His name was Pickle. So I yell, Pickle! Pickle! No answer. Finally I yell one more time, God damn it, Pickle! And finally we hear a voice from up in the loft, like turned his head away from the hole. What? Dude, it was so messed up. So I said, okay, I guess I'm in charge now.
Right.
Ma'am, you go to the front of the store and we'll be calling the police. Dude, that's how it ended.
And you worked for this guy, right? I mean, he's
Well,
your boss.
sort of. He was the manager for the Halloween for this.
Oh, okay.
He was the manager because the owner was lazy, and was never there and would just hire someone and had no, reason to care about the store. So
How
he was
old were
just.
you? How old
I
was?
was.
I mean, when was this?
I was in my 30s. I'm sure. I was pretty old.
Wow.
Yeah, I had moved back from. I had stopped working for my dad and came back and started working again at the magic shop. So I was pretty old, and he was younger. He was like 20. He was like a stupid ass weirdo fucking freak, and he had fucking drilled a hole in the floor of the loft. Gross.
So you could.
And
Right.
good thing the first person he did it to saw it.
Wow.
Wasn't that good?
Wow.
It wasn't the first person.
No, of course not. Well, I was thinking you were being serious, and I was thinking, well, how did they know? Maybe this was his first day, and it was
So then,
what made her, or how did he get caught on this one? I'm wondering. She just so happened to probably hear a thumping or something.
She happened to look up putting on, the princess veil or something.
Oh my gosh,
dude! It's a horror film. I'm glad.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. So we pushed him. We got him out the back of the store and made him stand out there with this big, huge guy that worked there. I'm like, you go stand with him. Called the police. Police came.
And so you turned into the freaking manager right there. Like you told the manager what to do because you're like, dude, you just effed up.
And so I called up the owner because his wife was there and she had left like a half hour before this happened. So I called the owner. This is before fucking cell phones, dude. So you couldn't, it just slow. Everything was slow and getting a hold of somebody, cord. So finally I got a hold of him and he's like, oh, I can't really do anything. I'm like, you better fucking get your butt down here because I'm leaving. It was so messed up.
Did you leave?
Yeah, I left. The cops are like, well, who's in charge? Who's the manager? I'm going, the manager is the guy you're arresting out back for being a peeping pervert. Oh, okay. The owner's coming. We're all just employees. Okay. It was messed up.
This guy been there longer than you?
Technically, because I had just moved back.
Okay. You had been there before. You'd worked there before. Okay.
I opened that store and worked there for 10 years before I left. I left to go open another store in Iowa. I worked there for a while.
So you just left for the day, or is that it?
I left for the day. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I just left for the incident. Sorry about making that noise by the microphone just then.
Anyway, so he went to jail.
I don't think he went to jail. I think who knows? I think he might have gone. They took him down to the station.
Was she flipping out up front?
I never saw him again, so that's good. Whenever we talked about him, we would do this. Hey, have you seen Pickle around? It was messed up.
That's so strange, man. That is so strange.
People are weirdos.
Dude, I don't know why that story. It's just, it's messed up. It's all these years later, and to think that he, looked away and tried to make it sound like he was, at the other end of the, the other end of the store.
Because you've done that with your voice, right? Everyone's like,
yeah, not over a peephole.
No, but... Mom, I'm outside. Nowadays, he would just have his cell phone and make a little teeny itsy bitsy hole. And he could just watch it on his cell phone.
She would never see an eyeball. Dang, man, I'm trying to think of, I don't know what this guy looks like, obviously, but I'm trying to recreate this in my head, and this guy's eyeballs at this hole, and the feeling that went through his body when he realized was busted. When he realized he was busted. Yeah. And then for him not to move and just sit up there
or just not say anything. Wouldn't you just like freeze and not?
Do you think you would eventually walked up there? Like if you knew that was the only way up there, right?
Oh yeah, I would totally have gone up there. That was next on the
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but not say anything, yeah, and hope that, the employee down below wouldn't know about this, and he would just say, "Ma'am, I don't see anything,"
It was diabolical. It was
Start
so
blaming it on
whack.
her, like, you're just wanting this costume for free, ma'am." You
That
know?
didn't. Nothing like that happened. Yeah, that's horrifying. People are so weird.
Did he say he wasn't doing it? I mean, did he immediately say
No,
anything?
there was nothing he could say. I mean, there was no fucking denying it. It was there. You had to go up a small ladder to get up there. It was only about 7 feet off the ground. Where that platform was. It was so,
I wonder where Pickle is today.
yeah, I wonder.
Do we know? Do we know his real name?
No,
I'm gonna,
thank
I'm gonna
God.
find this guy, man.
I know. Can you imagine?
Maybe somebody will see this and they'll go, "I know exactly who Pickle is."
Oh, Jesus. Life's so weird.
That it is. That it
Yeah.
is. So you worked for your dad before that?
Just brief. I worked for him for a couple of years. He was, you have a smoke CO2 detector? Kitty, the CO2 detectors. He had a CO2. He did computer fabrications for computer companies, like circuit boards that he would sell then to Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard would say, "We need this," and they'd be, "Okay, we'll do that. We need these cables. We need so many," and it was like a subcontractor thing. And then he was trying to find a product, and so he found a smoke detector. Him and this guy, they worked on Nighthawk smoke detector. And but before that, that's when I came. I worked when he was doing all the subcontracting stuff. That's when I worked. I came back from Iowa, needed a job, thought, I'll work for Dad. It didn't pay well. Let me tell you that. Everybody thought I was making bucks, but I still have pay stubs with like $5.20 an hour. It's crazy. The old days. But so I worked there for a couple of years. Then I stopped working there, went back to the magic shop. And then he sold the Nighthawk smoke detectors business to Kitty. He sold the CO2 detector to Kitty, who makes the smoke detectors.
Yeah.
So they make everything now. They sponsor NASCAR and shit. But so
Carbon monoxide detectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where he made his big score doing that.
And where did he live at the time?
Here in the Springs.
Okay. So he hit it big.
Hit it big. Must be nice.
Ed never hit it big with him?
No, didn't hit it big. It was I got a shotgun out of the deal.
You got a what?
I inherited a cool shotgun.
Oh. So when he hit it big, he didn't share anything with you?
Oh yeah, we all got the minimum $9,999.
Really?
Isn't that weird? Shows you what a whack job he was. Because if you give someone $10,000, you have to pay extra taxes.
Oh, so he gave you and
all the siblings and everybody.
How many siblings do you have?
3 sisters, 3 older sisters.
Okay.
How many do you have?
Well, if you want to count step and half,
right?
I mean, I don't really.
I have 3 biological sisters. I had one half sister who was like an Oprah episode that I didn't know about until after.
Really?
Yeah. And then I had
She passed away, and that's when you found out about her?
No, we had met her just before then. It was crazy.
Before she passed away?
She was older than all of us, yeah. See?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So, and then I have a stepbrother, I guess. So that's it. Wasn't really around any of them, though.
How did that come to pass? You finding your long lost sibling that you.
She had found her birth mom was my mom. She was adopted as a youth, or when my mom was young.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your mom did know.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Was that a rough situation?
No, we were all adults.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was rough for them, on that side, them dealing with it. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Always a curveball here and there.
Man, is it not? Is it not?
Totally.
I mean, life in general is a curveball, and then there's you have other curveballs too within life. You're like, okay, all right, how many curveballs?
Yeah. Crazy.
What about the recent story you told me about? Can we tell that or no?
Which one?
About your stepdad.
I don't know. Probably not.
The one you just recently told me.
I don't know which one
that you were dealing with.
No, I don't know. Probably not.
Okay. Is that you know what I'm talking about, but we can't say it?
I don't think I know what you're talking about. Maybe I do.
We were trying to schedule this podcast, and you told me what you were dealing with. You're like, man, you told me the. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't have it squared away yet.
I don't know when you're kidding either. Even when we would be racing, you know, and I couldn't see your face at the time, but it didn't matter. It didn't help one way or the other. But I never knew when you were joking. You know, that's a good story though, man.
Yeah, it is a good story. There are some good ones. All right, you want to see a wand trick? Big finish. The big finish. I don't like magic on TV.
Are we about to wrap this up?
Yeah, probably. I have to go to the bathroom.
We'll wrap it up then.
All right, you ready? You know why I don't like magic tricks? Because you never really know what. Whoa. Okay, no, just kidding. There, that was pyrotechnic. See how we circled around?
Yeah, I was not ready for that.
All right. Anyway, we'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, soon. We haven't even scratched the surface, man.
We need to talk about politics.
Well, I know, but before I got into that, I wanted to not.
I was just kidding. Did you like the hammer? I bought that for my grandson.
Is it foam?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks real, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I used to keep a realistic can, a Budweiser can. It was foam, but it looked exactly like a Budweiser can. And every time I
throw it at people.
No. Every time I got pulled over, which was often because I was always acting a fool, you know, as a kid. Every time I get pulled over, you know, they're flashing their flashlight, you know, shining their flashlight at my truck, and they're like, "Oh yeah, how stupid are you?" You know, 'cause there's my console in my truck, and there's that can, and I'd laugh every time, and they probably didn't appreciate it, but I'd say it's fake, and they're like, "Yeah, that's what they all say." And I'm like, it was a good conversation starter.
Did you pick it up and hand it to them?
Oh, yeah, or they would say, "Well." I mean, usually, yes. One time, some friends pulled up, and one of them's in law enforcement right now, but one of them pulled up, and the cops pulled up to us, and actually, they pulled up to my truck. We were just sitting in the parking lot. Cops pulled up, and they're like, "All right, y'all stole beer." Y'all stole beer? We were told that a blue and white. I drove a blue and white Ford pickup, 85 model. We were told a blue and white Ford pickup. And these cops knew me. They were like, "We got a call, blue and white Ford pickup, stole beer." I was like, "Well, I would be a real big idiot if first of all, I don't drink." And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And then I'm like, "But second of all, I'd be a real big idiot because we're in the parking lot of the place where the beer was stolen, right? We're still in the parking lot, but this is where all the teenagers and people sit in town. You know, we all would congregate there and, you know, just hang out. But I think if I stole beer, I would at least drove off, you know.
At least.
Right. No. So they pull up, a highway patrolman, city cop, and and my buddy that was with me, you know, he ended up going to jail because he had drank a beer at his house before coming to town, and he was underage. And he admitted to it. They were like, "You have anything to drink?" I'm like, "I don't drink." He goes, you know, he's honest. And he goes, "I did. I had a drink, you know, at my house." And they were like, "Well, you know, turn around and put your hands behind your back," you know? And then another friend pulled up, and he had, like, I guess just gotten off of work or something. I don't know. But there was a crazy, crazy thing, man. But they were searching my vehicle. And that's when highway patrolman had, you know, found that can of beer. And he thought he had, you know, hit pay dirt. And I was like, "It's fake. It's not even real," you know? So,
did he ask you why you had a fake can of beer?
Every time they did. And I would laugh. I was like, "It's funny," you know? And they're like, I'd probably put that at my house, you know, I'd probably put it up, take it to your house, you know, and I'm like, "I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to leave it right there because it's not illegal, you know."
It's not as funny at the house.
What fun is it there? Yes. When I get pulled over, you're going to see that and you're going to think that you're taking me to jail, and you're not, for that anyways.
Well,
all right, Ed. Dude, we broke the ice.
right.
I think we've scratched the surface. We broke the ice. Been nervous about this one with you
because myself.
No, I don't think so.
No, good time. That was fun.
Yeah.
And we got the technical glitch worked out with your...
It was good. Oh my gosh.
Your microphone.
What you guys don't understand, or what you don't know, is before we went live, Ed comes in, he's got his, I can hear him, he can't hear me. And we went on and on, back and forth. He was trying to mess with it. He'd go out of the studio, come back in of the software studio, and he would go out and come back in. And he's like, I just can't figure this out. And I'm like, I can hear you. And he's like, can you hear me? I'm like, yes, I can hear you. I don't know, man. Check your settings of your app, on your phone. And long story short, my microphone was not on. I was like, oh my gosh. And I laughed a lot. I laughed really, yeah.
There was a lot of laughter. All right, man. Cool.
All right. Later.
All right. Be cool, man.
What is it? What is it? What'd you have? Anything?
No. What do you mean?
Yeah. Hey, I got something. I got something for you, Ed. Right.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Later.